Welcome. This is the Cancer Journey Show, and I'm Sherry Ann Tom.
And I'm Keri Lehman. And we are
And
the
we,
Cancer Journey Institute as
yeah,
well.
I think we should say it at the same time because it's just kind of fun. And together we are the Cancer Journey Institute. We'll practice that more. Today we're doing something a little different. We mostly do one-on-one coaching to show you exactly what cancer journey coaching is. Today I'm going to be interviewing Keri because you heard my story if you've seen some of our past episodes, but you haven't heard Keri's, and hers is equally as fascinating as everyone's cancer journey is. But I think it's a great opportunity for you to know who Keri is behind the orange shirt and the red glasses.
Behind this pretty face.
So I don't have to bring in a guest today. We just get to turn our heads and look at Keri. And I'm actually going to put you in spotlight if you're okay with that.
Sure.
Okay. And where we'd love to start, Keri, is tell us, what brought you to the whole realm of cancer journey coaching?
Well, the very short answer to that question is you did. But it's not like I was. So when I became a coach, they suggest that you pick a niche, and I tried out some different ones, and nothing ever really stuck for me. And I always wanted one, and I always felt kind of isolated as a coach, and I really wanted to be part of something else. So that's why I stayed with CTI for a really long time. But what I knew that I loved were two things. One was to go really deep with my clients and to work with people who were bringing their whole raw self. And the other thing I loved doing is training people to coach.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason for both of those things, I think, is because I get to go deep with people.
Yes. Like that is a passion of yours. That's the part that feeds your soul and your spirit.
Exactly. So you and I've been coaching for 20 years, I think, just about. And still just, coaching various clients and what have you. And over the years, you and I got to be friends after we were coach and client for a while. But
right.
always had a secret wish to be your friend. And
that does happen sometimes with our clients, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And the great thing is that since we're not, clinical or therapeutic, we can make that transition. And it depends on your relationship, but ours kind of naturally morphed into becoming friends.
Right. And what I want the audience to know is Keri was my very first coach. As I was going through coach training, Keri was one of my instructors, and I kind of picked her out from the bunch and said, "Hey, you, I would like you to be my coach." And she said, "Oh, I'm not taking any clients right now." And I'm like, sure. I want you to be my coach. Thus began the relationship.
I was not taking no for an answer. And the context of that is I was like 8.5 months pregnant at the time, and I had a full practice. And so I was like, I can't take any more clients. And what she actually said was, "You're my coach, and I'm willing to wait."
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you remember.
Yeah. Well, it really touched me when you said that. So, so during the period of time where we were coach and client, Sherry Ann had her first recurrence of lymphoma. And even though I felt in over my head, we also were feeling, we could tell, both of us, how much more effective it was to have a coach and for somebody to be there. And I loved being there. And yet I felt like I wanted more tools, for the specific thing of cancer journey coaching, which we didn't know was the name of it at all yet. But when Sherry Ann and I had become friends, and then she decided that she wanted to focus on just cancer individuals because of all of your cancer journeys. And you were writing a book and you were just immersing yourself. And one time at one of our coffee meetings, Sherry Ann said, I want to create a movement, and I know you love to train coaches. Will you help me to design a cancer coach training? And I was just thrilled. I didn't even say, let me think about it or anything. I just said, absolutely, yes. I was already in love with Sherry Ann and just couldn't think of anything more fun. And so we designed a program, and I was still kind of on a trial basis. It was like,
right.
Help me design this program and we'll deliver it. And but I remember our first training with what we called the beta group, and they still proudly wear that label of the betas, in 2012. And we coached, we were training up until lunch. By lunchtime, I was madly in love with these.
Yes.
And I'll never forget, we were walking arm in arm to lunch, and we would have skipped if you didn't have on such high heels. And we were just rejoicing, and there was something about it where we knew that this was so far beyond. This was going to be the first of many workshops. Yeah. And so what I loved about it was I love being with people in this world because their veneer drops, the masks that we have on in normal life just to cope. They come down a lot quicker when you're dealing with someone who has dealt with cancer or who has cancer.
Yes, it's very true. It's very true.
And then that it dovetails with all the things I love, because I love training coaches. I love working with you. I love working in partnership. I love being co-creative. And it felt like all those 20 years of coaching and all of that experience led me to this, because of all the things that I love the metaphysics. Like, we get to bring in spiritual tenets and no one is resistant to it because they're just open. And I think the resistance really was my own.
Good noticing that it's a personal growth journey for them as well as it is for us.
As well as it is for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how have you grown, Keri?
Well, I think I've really stepped into my leadership. So it feels, this might sound kind of dramatic, but the truth of it is that it feels like a destiny path for me. Part of my destiny is to be a teacher and a healer. And it just kind of goes directly to that. So I just remember, once again, returning to that beta group day, just saying things that I have said to you, or I've said, to my clients one-on-one, but now I'm saying these things that I know are universal truths, but I'm saying them to a group. It's like, well, you better put your money where your mouth is, sweetie pie.
As you were saying to yourself.
Right. It had that feeling of building the bridge as you're walking over it.
Yes. It was very brave of you to really lead the charge on the spiritual healing side of things.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah. because
And I leaned heavily into that for you.
and
You showed up.
I love
Showed
that.
up.
And that was, I'd always leaned into somebody else. Right. So this was a chance for me to really own that I know this stuff and that it's helpful and that, you and I can co-create like nobody's business. Because who knew, when we got together to design the training, it just kind of
Flowed from some divine place.
exactly. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
We were so excited. We were so exhilarated, because we were kind of, it's like when you're on a roller coaster and it's going to be the fun going downhill, but you're like, it had to be really.
So that was the beginning in 2012. And then, we went for many years before you would always hold the caregiver banner, with your mom and your husband.
Yeah, that what qualified me was that I had gone on cancer journeys with my mom and with my husband. And so you were like, yeah, you can bring the caregiver perspective.
Which is super duper important.
Yes.
And then something major happened last year.
Yeah.
What was that?
I got my own diagnosis of breast cancer.
Yeah. I know, we were so sad about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was quite the thing because, in some of the metaphysics, there's like you create your own reality and how do we deal with that? And, and so we have come to an understanding about that it's not like, okay, you caused yourself to get cancer. It's more like there's just a grander plan. And that if something comes in your path, that it's for you. We don't know how it's for you, but it is for you. So yeah, I got diagnosed. When did I get diagnosed? In June?
I think the investigation started in April.
Yeah.
Or maybe late March, but through your birthday.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it took a really long time to get the diagnosis because it was so rare and they were sending it off to so many labs and all that kind of stuff.
And how has that impacted your, viewpoint, how you see the cancer journey? Because all the tools, the skills. You came fully equipped, and yet as the patient, it didn't give you, a free ride per se.
Right. It did. I think it helped me gain perspective that was powerful a lot sooner. But no, I had to go through all the fears and everything. And I think the thing that stands out the most in my mind was just that initial diagnosis and how utterly scary that is. And making decisions about what kind of care is going to be best for me.
Right.
That was the hardest part of the journey for me. But now when I work with clients, I know more of the language, because even though the thing is, we work with people who have cancer. We've been working with people who have cancer, but every cancer is different.
Right.
And every different cancer has its own vocabulary.
Right.
And even every individual cancer, like everybody's breast cancer isn't the same, and everybody's multiple myeloma isn't the same, and everybody's lymphoma isn't everybody, it manifests differently and people respond to it differently. And so, we've really known that's, it's not about knowing every vocabulary word. However, it's just really helpful to relate. Like, I have to get a scan next week.
Right.
So I understand more about the palms sweating and the fear of recurrence.
Right. Scanxiety.
Scanxiety. Exactly. And, you know, I have, as long as I've had a corporate career, I've been in training, right? I've been in
Mm-hmm.
teaching mode. And my first training job was training salespeople. And I felt a little bit of a fraud because I wasn't a salesperson. I knew that, you know, the skills they're just human communication skills. They're just effective communication skills. And I knew that, but I hadn't been in the field.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so one of the gifts of having my own diagnosis is I'm not making up how it might feel to be in the field.
Right. You have done your field work.
I have done my field work. Exactly. And it's important to say that I don't feel like I asked for this or thought I had to get it or anything. It's more like, well, since I have this, let's make the most of it. You know.
That's a great attitude. Truly, it's a great attitude because there's so many troughs in the cancer journey. And you're shaking because you just absolutely, every time I say it, I'm sure you're like, just in your mind, the stories are coming up of when this happened and then when this happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you finished treatment in November and then came back to work way quick. So it's now August. Oh my God, it's now August. So you'll be hitting your annual
My year
anniversary. Yeah,
of diagnosis.
you hit that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you're getting close to, you know, your anniversary of treatment. So just reflecting back, what do you want to say about that, about your cancer journey?
That's a great question. um, Well, that I am really grateful that I had all the tools that I had because I knew I had the cancer journey roadmap. I knew where I was. It's like, wow, you know, this initiation stuff, you know, because first it's innocence, then the call, then initiation. And initiation is where you're making all the decisions about your treatment and everything. And it's like, whoa, this is not for sissies.
Mm-hmm.
That was so difficult. And I don't think I realized how difficult that was. But one thing I want to say is I'm glad it's over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad
We
I
are too.
got through it. Yeah. And I do feel like a different person, but it's I feel like more of myself.
Mm.
I feel like while I was going through the journey, so much love just poured in so many forms. And so if I ever think that I'm not loved, it doesn't hang around for very long because it's undeniable that I am loved.
Right. From the outpouring of people who showered their love on you, and how else did you get to know that you were loved on your journey?
Well, I think, you know, it was about me receiving that love.
Ah.
So I feel like I had grown in my own self-love because I was bound and determined not to push it away.
Mm-hmm.
I was conscious of that because it would have been really easy to just, that's too much, you know, and I was bound and determined to just appreciate every bit of it. And what I realized is that grows you. It's almost like you have to expand and grow enough to hold all that love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you have grown, my dear, like the Grinch whose heart grew 3 sizes.
Yeah. And my heart was already big.
I know.
So it's amazing And I had breast cancer, so it's all about the heart center. So it's kind of like things are busting out here.
And so from where you are now to, I mean, just kind of looking in the future and the Cancer Journey Institute, what is it that you want to bring from you more into this company and where it's going? What can we expect from you, I guess, is the question.
Well, I think one thing is just huge compassion. Because I think, we like to think that we know what causes cancer. Or, I know why I got it, or I know why Sherry Ann got it, or why Kathy got it, like we want to, some part of us desperately wants to know. And so I think one of the things in a larger picture of what the cancer journey brings and where we're headed is just helping each other and whoever joins with us is to deal with the unknown with compassion. Yeah, with compassion and not having to face it alone.
Right. So it feels like compassion, so understanding and I mean, I know one of my favorite phrases of yours is scooping people up. So it's kind of like, I see you, I get you, come here. I not only empathize, but I have an unwielding compassion for you as you're going through this. And then the other part is, and you're not walking forward into the unknown alone. And like, I'm here, we're all here, all the coaches, all of who make up the Cancer Journey Institute are behind you. Yeah. And you're going to lead that charge into the unknown. Right. That's what I'm getting.
Yes, because there is so much unknown. I mean, it goes way beyond cancer. But now you and I have created a community and a cadre of people. It's almost like I see us like at the Women's March or something. Like we're all linked arms and we're in a row and we're marching, or across that bridge.
Right.
That John Lewis crossed.
Right, right.
It's a structure for us to help pave the way into love, compassion, and the unknown, which is what I think is what needs to happen to heal this planet.
It's just brilliant. Thank you, Keri. Is there any last thing you want to say before we bid this audience adieu for a week?
I'm just kind of amazed at how when you wish for something, it comes, but it comes in a package you weren't expecting.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Keri.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you everyone for joining us and for watching this. We now know a little more of Keri behind that beautiful face. And next week we will have another guest client and we will see you then. So for now, before we go, we do have a free workshop happening on next Tuesday, which is August 11th at 12 noon Pacific time. If you're interested in signing up, please go to our website, thecancerjourney.com, and under events, you will find the link to Panic to Powerful. Okay.
Yes. For any of you if you're interested and you think you might want to know more about our work for whatever reason, whether that's for just you personally or you want to think about it more on a professional level, this will give you a great taste.
Yes. All right. So just remember, you are more powerful than you realize, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.